So we're doing something a little different this morning. I was going to stream last night and we encountered all sorts of problems with the internet. So I'm taking Nix out for a morning walk. I just had an altercation with a very cranky man, but not going to get into that. So I'm taking Nix out for a walk very early on Sunday morning because I'm awake because I went to sleep so early. And I guess I'm sort of pulling a Corey the motherfucking chainsaw where you're not going to see me, you're just going to hear me talking. But, and I love these lights here. I'm on Esplanade Avenue. Beautiful Esplanade in the beautiful city of New Orleans. So I'm gonna have a little walk and chat. I felt bad. I couldn't stream last night, especially if there were people staying up, because I said I was gonna stream around 11. And then, of course, by like midnight, we're still fucking with the internet trying to get online. So eventually I had to call it and say, that's a wrap. We've been trying to do this for too long now. It's too aggravating. I'm aggravated, and I was afraid, some people might be waiting up for us to stream, and it wasn't happening. And that seemed pretty rude, so I said, that's it. It's not working. It's not happening tonight. Time to call it and say it's not happening. But come on, Nix. Come on, girl. But Wayne is here with me in New Orleans. I was going to briefly talk about that last night. I'm not going to get into too much depth. Beautiful homes around here. But yeah, so our crazy life. So as many of you know, I streamed on Sunday night a couple weeks ago, starting to talk about the Salem witch trials, and I've been preparing to do the next episode of that. But while I was streaming, Wayne was coming into the chat. He was a little angry and upset. Check it out. Look at the pretty little fountain. Isn't that nice? And he was being upset and, saying some things and doing some things and generally just not thinking clear, but that's okay. It happens to the best of us. So after that stream, which I ended kind of early because I was sort of distracted with it all. There's a cute little coffee shop over there. The Flag, I think it's called. Anyway, I was kind of distracted, so I ended the stream kind of early, more quickly than I had planned. And after my stream, Nix is pulling me. I gotta twirl so I'm not tangled up. After the stream, Wayne ended up texting me saying he wanted to talk like adults. So we ended up talking from like the late afternoon, early evening until about 3 a.m. And yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff. And as many of you know, all right, part of the reason why I'm doing this and talking about it publicly at all is because I know there's a lot of people who are going to feel very confused by my decision to talk to Wayne at all, and don't really understand what I'm doing, and you know, think I'm being like silly or stupid or not thinking clear myself. Let's try to wipe off the lens. Yeah, who don't really understand what I'm doing and think I'm being like a sucker or something, you know, being sucked in and whatever, you know, people think. Come on, people, you have to remember I am a woman of a certain age, you know, like I'm not completely green in the world, and yeah, I make some dumb decisions and do dumb things sometimes, but like on the whole, I am smart and, you know, with it to some extent. And I'm not going to purposely set myself up for hurt or heartache or anything like that. So just bear that in mind. I appreciate everybody who cares about me and all the people that have been messaging me and concerned about me, worried about me and whatnot. And although I have responded to most of those messages briefly, because it's been a busy time for me the past couple weeks, I do just want to say, like, you know, to everyone in general, thank you for your love and your concern and your caring. And believe me, it means a lot to me. It really does. Come on, Nix. Oh, look at that cool bike. It does mean a lot to me. I do appreciate it. It's nice to know that people out there in the world care. An apartment for rent up there. It's nice to know that there's people out there who care about me and care about my welfare, want to see that I'm okay. I appreciate that. I do. Obviously, when people are hurt or angry or upset, they say things they don't mean. They run their mouth. And, you know, when people are in that state where they're angry and just kind of running at the mouth, you got to take that shit with a grain of salt. You really do. And you have to remember that they're angry and upset and possibly trying to cause some hurt and pain themselves. So just bear that in mind, folks, okay? Now, Wayne hasn't really gone into it too much yet, but there was a misunderstanding. Shit, that car was going so fast, I thought he was gunning for me. There was a misunderstanding, and Wayne thought something had happened that had to do with me, which it didn't. And come on, Nix. Yeah, so he got the wrong end of the stick and was sort of, you know, accusing me of things that I hadn't done. So, you know, maybe he'll talk about it, maybe he won't. I don't know, that's up to him. I'm not his keeper. I'm not going to force him to do anything. But look at these pretty flowers here. There have been a lot of dead herons in the road, which is kind of yucky and sad, but that's life, especially when you're roosting on a busy city street. So, yeah, there were some misunderstandings. And, you know, this is why communication is so important, people. If you don't communicate, then that shit can happen. Misunderstandings can occur. and can cause a lot of problems and a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of upset, especially if you take that shit public. Then then you got other people fighting your battles for you and also trying to cause hurt and upset, and maybe those other people do it even more than you. So communication is key, very important. These herons are crazy. I call them the pterodactyls. They're very loud. They make a lot of mess. They stink, but they're pretty cool to look at and observe. I see one up there, big old pterodactyl. I'll put Nick's down for a minute while I try to zoom in. They do fight a lot too. But they sound so funny. So these are the, I think there's two breeds of heron up here. They're night herons, but I think there's two breeds. There's the black crowned night herons, and there's also the yellow night herons. So yeah, they're pretty crazy birds. There's so many of them, and one could be watching you and you might not even know. Where's the one I'm trying to zoom in on? Right there. See that one watching me? Hi. I see you like you see me. They're wild. I can see its butt. See its butt? There's one right above me. So yeah, these crazy night herons in the trees down here, they're wild. They've got red eyes. Isn't that cool? It's like you just stepped into a frame of where the wild things are. So they nest all in these huge oaks in this one particular little strip of Esplanade, and it's just this one block. And as you can see, they make a lot of mess with the pooping. See how they've pooped all over the leaves and the street. And some of the babies do fall out of the trees, and they either hit the ground and squish. See, it's getting so humid that it's fogging up my lens. Hold on. So they either fall out of the trees and just die from falling, or they get hit by a car. They make very crazy noises. See, that's a black-crowned heron right there. The black-crowned night heron. You can see the red eyes and the black crown. Very cool birds. Very interesting. The crazy noises they make. I love coming down here and just watching them. They're wild. Wild. Anyway, so there were some misunderstandings between Wayne and I, and after my stream 2 weeks ago, We were texting for several hours. Then Wayne asked me to lunch the next day. I did go to, actually not lunch, but dinner with him. But we had spent the day together before we went to dinner. Spent a lot of time talking. And something funny actually happened. I'm going to walk Nix a little bit more and then I'll come back, because I can't focus on the pterodactyls and my story at the same time. But basically, he did take me to... Wayne and I always used to play this game, you know, the claw machine, where the claw like drops down and you try to pick up a toy or an electronic device or some kind of prize. So Wayne and I used to play the claw a lot, and we would never win. Never, ever, never would win. And he took me to this place where they had 3 claw machines lined up, and he was on the one furthest to the right. I was on the one in the middle, and we were playing at the same time. And at the same time, our claws both picked something up, and we realized we were like actually winning something, which would never happen. And so like our prizes dropped at the same time. And we were like over the moon. And I won a little purple dog that had like raindrops on it, which was kind of funny and interesting. And it actually was raining that day quite a bit, so that was funny. Little purple dog with raindrops. I'll have to post a picture of it. And then he won a pair of fake AirPods, which actually work really well. So not bad for $1. That's how much it costs to play the claw machine. And then after, so we were like high-fiving and jumping for joy. And then I played his machine and I won again. I won a little phone stand that swivels. And I do like my phone stands. So that was pretty cool and fun. And funny that we won 3 times playing the claw machine. We never win, so we felt like we had a lot of luck that day. And it was just kind of funny. So we ended up having a good day. We went out for a very nice dinner that night. Yeah, it was a good day overall. And so Wayne and I have spent the better part of the past 2 weeks together. It's been a few days where he's gone back to where he's staying, but for the most part he's been with me here in New Orleans, and we've been bopping around the city and doing different things and having fun, and a lot of talking, a lot of emotions, a lot of emotional shit for us both. So, you know, it's early days. Nothing's carved in stone, but I guess I would just ask that you try to be understanding and compassionate. I love New Orleans fountains. They're everywhere during this time, and respect our privacy and respect the fact that you cannot judge a situation when you don't know everything that's gone on, and nobody does. You know, there's been certain people I've opened up to a little bit and spoken to and shared some things here and there, but I certainly haven't shared everything with anyone. And then sometimes those people take things that I've said and twist them out of context and draw their own conclusions. And I guess that's just part of human nature, part of what humans do. You know, truth is a matter of perspective, and some people draw their own conclusions and their own truths. And sometimes try to even make you look bad with that shit. And that's sad. But this is what happens. This is what happens in the crazy paranormal world, in the crazy Facebook world, the crazy YouTube world, the crazy social media world. Things go awry and wiggy sometimes. And it is crazy. It can be crazy. So that's that part of it. I'm kind of rambling at this point. But the bottom line is Wayne and I are spending some time together. We are talking, trying to mend. Whether that means mending to the point that we're back where we were is yet to be seen. But at least we're mending to the point where things aren't hateful and ugly and slanderous and having some sort of big war, which never benefits anyone. And I certainly didn't want that. And I don't think Wayne really wanted that either. I think he was just, he can be a hothead at times, and I think he was just reacting to a false narrative. But we're past that now, and as I say, we're talking and getting along. Oh, sorry. She's just a pup.
Yeah, we can tell. She's very cute.
Thanks. Yeah, anything is better than a big, ugly public war. So that's what we're trying to avoid. And as I say, we appreciate your support and patience and understanding. During our time together, the 2 years, really even longer than that we've been involved before the beginning of February this year, there was a lot of sometimes difficult shit for us to navigate. And a lot of it did have to do with social media and YouTube. And oh, isn't that funny? I've actually never been over here. And look what I'm seeing. The King and Queen Emporium. Oh, synchronicity, you are fun. Bayou Road. Yeah, a lot of times there was a lot of stuff to navigate that had nothing to do with us or our relationship, but had to do with haters on social media and on YouTube. And unless you're a creator who deals with that world and tries to navigate that world, you don't know what it's like. But it is the lion's den, and it can be vicious and ugly and nasty. And I feel like for some reason the paranormal draws a lot of broken, fucked up, dysfunctional, screwed up people, and then those people, can be very nasty and affect everyone around them. And that happens. It happens a lot. Mad love. So we dealt with a lot of that. And it did interfere in our relationship sometimes and cause problems. And Nix. And, Wayne does have severe anxiety. And, ooh, that is so cool. And he deals with that. And I have some anxiety. I have Asperger's. So I have ADD and anxiety. Come here. And shit that I deal with that I don't talk a lot about publicly, and all that stuff, can really affect us. And when we're like a willow tree, aw. So, you know, when we're a lot of times fighting over stuff that has nothing to do with he or I or our families or our lives or our relationship, but rather has to do with assholes on the internet, that's frustrating. It's frustrating, and it's a lot to deal with and cope with sometimes. And like I say, unless you've been there and dealt with it, you just don't know what it's like. So I feel like a lot of people making judgment calls and stuff like that, they're not coming from a place of, you know, real knowledge, because they just haven't ever been in our position. And it is a difficult position at times. It's not all fun and games. It's a lot of work and a lot of stress. So, yeah. Just need to keep that in mind. Jesus, Nix, what are you doing now? Come here. Come here, Loopy Loon. Come here. Crazy dog. So, yeah. Magnolias. This is a little baby magnolia tree. Most of the magnolias have passed, but this one looks like it's budding new buds. Anyway, some pretty churches around here. We're not too far from St. Louis Cemetery number 3. And, oh, there's a lizard. And 1 and 2 really aren't too far either, which is cool. We live in close proximity to all 3 cemeteries. But that's pretty much that. One of the things I was going to speak about last night was the whole Mark Smith PTX TV Paranormal X hellhole of drama. I did try to sort of catch up on what's happening with that yesterday. I did watch several videos of people discussing it, including Ghosts of Britain, Order of Magnitude, Proving Demons, some drama channels, and whatnot. And I was going to speak on it and give my opinion. The universe is abundant, so don't fret. I like it. Free NOLA art by local folk artist, the late Michael Allen. Wow, that's awesome. I would like some of this free art by the late Michael Allen. That's so cool. Yeah. So I'm getting distracted now. I'm going to pause and finish this because I am going to grab a couple pieces of art. So anyway, I was going to speak on that, give some of my opinions, my reflections, my thoughts after watching these videos. I had hoped to do that last night while it was all fresh in my mind. We're going to try to stream probably tonight. If not tonight, very soon, and as soon as we can. We are having some internet difficulties that we need to deal with, which we will. And as soon as we get that sorted out, then I will stream and I will talk about these issues, this drama that's going on that a lot of people are getting involved with, because everybody has their own perspective and I have mine. And there are some things I want to say about it. So look for that. It's coming. And then after that, look for the next episode of the Salem Witch Trials, which I will continue talking about. I am hoping to stream more. It's just been tough, guys. I have been moving. It's been a lot. It's been a lot to deal with and a lot to focus on, a lot of work. I've been worn out, burnt out. Aside, from the physical labor of moving and getting resettled and whatnot, there's been a lot of emotional shit going on in my life. And it does take a toll. And it does affect me. And sometimes I think people just don't get that. So, yeah. And I get a lot of fucking bullying and harassment and bullshit in the paranormal community, in the YouTube community. I'm the woman in the paranormal they love to fucking hate, even if they don't have a reason to do so. So, I'm a pretty strong chick. I'm pretty independent, and I'm pretty hardy, but I'm only human, and at times that shit can get to me too. I know it gets to Wayne. It gets to him way more than it gets to me. At this point, I've been dealing with it for so long that I'm pretty good about shaking it off and letting it roll off my shoulders. It definitely affects Wayne more because of his anxiety. And, I think that you're forced to deal with the drama at times, You just are. You're forced to deal with it. There's no escaping it. And it's nearly impossible to be involved. Death is everywhere. That's true. It's nearly impossible to be involved in the paranormal and not come up against the drama. It's like part and parcel. It's there and it happens. So you have to learn how to deal with it and how to cope with it. And it's harder for some people than it is for others. But we do the best we can. And that's all you can do every day is get up and do the best that you can. So I will continue to do that. I know Wayne will continue to do that. I think whether we continue to do that as a couple, sort of remains to be seen at this point. But I'm glad that we're talking and getting along and trying to work some things out rather than, like I say, just having a war, which doesn't benefit anyone in any way. So, keep your eyes and ears on the space. I will be back. Wayne will be back. And you'll see both of our lovely faces soon, I'm sure. And in the meantime, be well, be happy, be safe. Kiss your loved ones and tell them everything you want to say, because you never know which day is your last day, or theirs. Don't let the demons bite. Make love, not war. And, be kind, be loving, be compassionate, be generous, be understanding, be forgiving, be loving, be fair, and all that good stuff. Okay, guys, all that jazz. So, until next time, I bid you adieu. Thanks for joining Nix and I. Come here, Nix. Nix, say goodbye to the peeps. Say goodbye to the peeps. Thanks for joining Nix and I on our walk today. And we love you all very much. And we shall see you soon. Cheers.